So
lumber, the decking.
May takes off, goes like straight freaking banana land. Everybody and their dog's puppies and their puppies' fleas and everything that could walk through the door came through the door. And it was as fast as you could talk to people and pull quotes because everybody was at home and they weren't going on holidays and they were like, they're tired of their deck and their fence and and it was like,
so
well,
all the speculation that we had came true, thankfully. The weather thing is like, when we finally got into that, I was like, maybe once it, we gotta redo our video here. Maybe once we get the weather warmed up, it'll get busier. And the weather warmed up and it got busier. And then we also had some conversations with, like, I know I was on the phone a few times with Sean from the Rusty Shovel because we're in this thing, like,
pseudo together.
Same thing. Our seasons are the same. It's the same type of renovation project that's happening for them versus us. They happen together, whatever. Very, very similar businesses, same sizes, same scale. So it was good to be like, have somebody reach out to you and be like, dude, are you like, you running the tub right now too? Or like,
yeah.
And he was kind of maybe a little bit ahead of where we were as far as looking for the optimism. Cause I remember having a conversation with him and him saying like, I think this may turn out okay. And here's why. And it was like, basically like, okay, there's a lot of people being sent home. This is a government town. There's a lot of people with Crown employed jobs or like large corporate jobs in this city, very safe, unionized incomes. He's like, there's gonna be a lot of people that are sent home to work from home or just sent home, but not taking any sort of pay cut or pay pause or anything. They're still getting paid. Mm-hmm. And now you've got the government releasing these assistance programs. They're going to get a few extra dollars from that. They're home now. Daycare shut down. They're not paying for the daycare. All of a sudden they're in a position where they're home and they have time and money.
Yep.
And people might actually do projects they didn't plan to do this year. That might actually happen. And I was like, that's a great point. There is a lot of people that would have jobs that are like, my wife works at SaskTel. A lot of those people are sent home. They're still getting paid. They're at home, like working, like whatever they might be doing. My wife's on mat leave. I wasn't a dig at her, but I'm just saying, like, you're not as productive at home. Like,
well, and just
from a corporate job.
So, how about just even the travel time? That's you're an hour a day extra to work in your yard. You don't have to be in your yard working in the afternoon, but you could throw down a dozen deck boards at lunchtime because you have a half an hour off. So you eat and then put down a few boards and back inside. You don't have to drive across town for 20 minutes, eat, turn around, drive back. So even if you can just chisel out that extra hour and a half a day that you didn't have, right?
Yep.
So
it turns out that some of that stuff played through. I don't know if it was because they were, if the reason was exactly the same, but the point being, like, people ended up having some money from somewhere and ended up having time, and the DIY market took off this year. People were in to do their rental.
You and I will find this hard to believe, but people save money. And then they were planning on going on family holidays, and so they probably had saved some cash to do that. Yep. We're not the strongest of savers.
Yeah, spent my holiday last year, not on a holiday. But no, so anyway, so May comes around. May ends up being, like, it starts off strong and ends up being by just a hair, by about 1% better than our last May, which was our best month we've ever had.
Yep.
So technically May ends up being by 1%, our best month we've ever had at the store. And we're just talking about the Regina location. Saskatoon wasn't even open. It didn't open until April 27th.
We sold more fence boards in May than we did last year. It was silly.
Yeah.
What happened?
So
that should have
pressure off.
That should have triggered something
happened
for us.
Employees all still here. Hire more now.
But
the season kicks off and we haven't looked back since. And so then you're kind of wondering, it's like, how long is this going to continue? How do we even forecast what we're going to do here? And everything's good for a while. What wasn't good was, like, because we got our lumber trucks in, we got our truck in, we got our timber tech truck in, we didn't get our fiber run stuff in.
We didn't get our timber tech truck.
Was that delayed too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got some stuff early, some stuff not. So in hindsight, great that we didn't cancel this stuff because we got a lot of things in. I guess, maybe timber tech and fiber on. Some things were delayed. We weren't getting them. And then within May, as we're
Decorators.
starting to make phone calls because we're selling stuff and now we need this stuff. And it's like making phone calls to our distributor and be like, hey, when's that truck coming? Oh, I don't know. It's like whatever. It's like, what is going on here? Why are we not, where's the stuff? And then it turns out like the phone calls we made to these people spooked them because they were probably getting them from everybody
Mhm.
into canceling the orders they didn't want us to cancel. They didn't like,
Yeah.
They didn't take their own advice.
right. So we're like, okay, sounds good. We'll see it through. We'll keep the order there. And then they didn't keep their orders with Fibron or with whoever,
Yeah.
with the manufacturer. And so now, like, now they've got no product to give us. And we're selling stuff left, right, and center. And we're calling. We're like, hey, we need this. We need this. Where is it? Sorry. We're like, the plant's behind, blah, blah. It's like, well, what happened to the, why are you,
Well, the
it's
plant's-
May. Why are you out of inventory?
That's why you prepay for all this.
Well,
Yeah.
the plant's out of inventory because it closed for a month.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a gathering more than 5 people. So the plants are closed. Nobody's making anything.
So, and that's what we're running into now. That's what everybody on this continent is running into now is with the lumber shortage because the mills were shut down. And so you went from in March thinking this season's not going to happen. Not just us, the industry being like, this is not good for this industry right now. Like this is going to be a
I
bad
remember
year.
like with Simcoe, I remember chatting with Simcoe and Eric, like, what are you guys going to do?
They-
I don't know.
They had full construction shutdowns.
Yes. They
Yeah,
weren't
some places
allowed
they
to
weren't even
work.
allowed to
Yeah.
go to a backyard. So how are you going to sell stuff that? And that was never the case here. Well, I don't know. There was never a formal one here, but like the contractors were not working building decks until May. And even then it was
Scary.
like a slow start into May. So that didn't happen. But so in March, like everybody gets shut down, mills included.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's logging, nobody's milling, nobody's treating, nobody's shipping. So the whole thing's right to a halt. They got all these orders that are maybe still in for the lumber at least that are backlogged. And now all of a sudden people start coming back to work in May a little bit here. Things are
Mhm.
opening slowly. So like
Yep.
production's, who knows, right? 20% of what it should be, 50%. It's like never getting up to capacity at the same time as the year starts to really take off. And now all of a sudden the rental market is up over what they expected it to be. And but
Somebody
everybody had
told me
stopped.
that Home Depot was up 400% in May.
What?
I know. Somebody said that. I never
Possible.
fact checked that. I never looked at it. I didn't, but like even for the idea of like 100% up is straight crazy, right?
Yeah.
40% is wild. But so then what do you do? Now, like if you think about being a local lumberyard and you're trying to compete with Home Depot and Lowe's, and so those guys their stuff is going through the roof and our stuff is going through the roof, and it's like, I cannot imagine being a vendor trying to like just answer the phone call from us, Lowe's, competitor lumberyards, big supply chains, like the lumberyard company in Manitoba's got 19 stores. Imagine that purchaser phoning. You know what I mean?
It's like
Yeah.
do you remember that Q&A question from Instagram? You got 95 boards left.
Yeah, who do you sell them to?
Who do you sell them to?
Auction.
Right? That's
Mhm.
exactly what was happening with you guys.
Absolutely.
And that's where
was.
the base of that question was, is like everybody was experiencing shortages at that time already. We came through it like relatively unscathed compared to some. Like we've seen tons and tons of people showing pictures of Home Depot in Atlanta or wherever, and the lumber aisles are empty. There's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Our yard is decently full of lumber. We've been able to trickle it in, but we're out of certain select things. Like right now we're super low on 2x8, and it's like that's not a good one to be out of. So there's some SKUs that we're out of. There's some SKUs that we have lots of, and so we're able to kind of sneak by here. But anyway, at the start of the year, we had some stuff. We got our lumber trucks. That was a good news story. We had lumber longer than most guys because we booked more at the start of the year and kept our orders, and so we were in a good position with lumber for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And even with Trex, we had like no issues with Trex early on. Taga this year had stocked up over the winter,
Yeah.
so they had a lot of stuff in the ground. Didn't see any troubles with them until about 6
Recently.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing major issues from TimberTech. TimberTech's not producing some of their lines right now, or maybe I shouldn't say not producing, not available in Canada, isn't shipping.
Mm.
So we've been told like there's some colors just like don't bother
Just don't
ordering them.
sell.
Fibron has shut down their fascia and riser board production. They have basically said like we had to convert those machines over to running deck boards to try to catch up on deck boards. People can do their facial later. So that's happened. There's just like now everybody is in this impossible catch-up game, and they're so far behind. It's like, it's a speck to them up in the distance. Like nobody's catching up this year. That's not happening.
Nope.
We've been told from our lumber suppliers, like, it's an all-year thing. This struggle to get lumber is going to be all year, and maybe then some. And expect to see major price increases at the beginning of every month.
You're going to take a 26% increase in your lumber across the board. It's like, oh boy, that is not ideal. But
Yeah.
what do you do? Like you can
Sell steel.
You could sell steel. Right?
Alan Herr just in the Instagram says, I'm late, but I just paid double for my lumber compared to my estimate last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again says lumber came from the lumberyard / contractor, not Home Depot. It must be a homeowner that's paid a contractor maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good thing you bought it now because
So
it'd be triple this fall.
In some
right? And it's
markets,
like,
we haven't been hit this hard on that, but I know in some
We're about
markets I've
to.
heard that like lumber's double. Guys are asking. Depends on where you're buying it from, first of all, too, because I feel like some of these stories where it's like it's double or 3 times, it's the yard taking advantage of a shortage in theirs. It's like what we have, we're gonna make bank on. But there is major price increases coming down the line as well. It hasn't been anywhere near that much yet, but we've seen about on average 10 to 11% price increase come in about a month ago, and then just a couple weeks ago had another one come in that was like 25 to 30%
On top.
on
Mhm.
So like
overnight.
40%.
Mhm.
Yeah, on top of
Holy smokes.
From where
And
we
so
started.
now you're talking that lumber's up like 45% from where it was, and some SKUs are worse, some are a little bit better. But thankfully, we ordered a bunch more lumber in the middle of the year, knowing it's like, oh yeah, it's happening. The year's happening. Ordered more lumber at the old price, so we haven't had to raise our prices that 40% yet. We did do about a 10% increase, but we're thankfully got some to burn through before we have to do it. But that's a big increase.
It's coming. Like it's coming to everybody.
And so
I'll believe it when I see it. I think if that lumber lands in our supplier and they go to send it out to us and they're like, yeah, no, it turns out we're not actually holding that 10%, like it's 40, because they could sell it. Like when it lands in their yard, somebody else is out of material, they could sell that for 40% more. So I'll believe it when I see it, much like yours.
But they probably have that pricing from the mill as well. Like they are locked in at that price from the mill, therefore they're passing our locked in price to us. It's like on the new stuff.
We'll see.
Like we had to buy some 6x6 recently because some guy came in and cleared us out of the 6x6, took the lifts that we had.
Yep.
And so that's the only item we've had to buy at the new price now. But thankfully some of the posts and whatnot didn't go up as much. The 6x6 I think went up 6% last time, not the 25 to 30. It's 2x10s, 2x12s, 2x8s. That stuff's going
High
to take a major
demand.
jump. Yeah.
Yeah. Fence boards, 2x4, 8-footers, 4x4, 10-footers.
Precision Construction says, distributor here told me their treated went up 30% with another 30% hike coming in September, and they are projecting being sold out in mid-August. So very similar story here.
Yeah.
We were just saying it's gone up. We've already seen about a 10 or 11% increase. We're seeing another 25 to 30 increase, and then we've been told this is going to continue to happen each month. So it's August 1st today. There may be another price list. It's been like the first week of each month. There's been a new price come in. So we might see an adjustment again.
Yeah.
I know in other markets, I talked to Colin from Windsor Plywood in near Edmonton, and he basically said when we had our first 10 or 11% increase, theirs was 25% back then, wherever they're getting their lumber from.
Right.
So regardless of where you are, there's some big price increases coming through our lumber. It's shortages everywhere. So if you've been, I know some people are reaching out to us and saying like, is this real? Like my lumber is telling me they can't get lumber. It's like, no, it's real. It's like,
So does your lumber supplier allow you to purchase like at a good price, like for a large amount of stock, or are they capping everybody?
I don't know that there's like, do you mean, are there volume discounts? Is that what you're asking?
No. Like, so if you think it's going to go up 30% September, like order a little extra at this lower price
so
now.
by the time you hear it's gone up,
It's
they won't take your orders anymore. Yeah,
okay.
if that's what you're asking. So the last price increase that went up, I had, like I said, we had a couple trucks in the queue of lumber, but when my rep called me and was like, heads up, I'm working on new price increases by the end of the day, my first question was, if I get you a PO before the end of the day,
yeah.
and he said, I just won't take it. So it's like, by the time they decided they were working on new pricing and communicated that, it was over at the former price. And then I clarified, I was like, so the trucks that I have on order, he's like, the trucks you have on order are locked in at the price that they were when you bought them. I was like, okay, good. And so, yeah, they don't let you sneak them in before it happens. It's like when it's about to happen, it's already too late.
Do you think it's causing like a scare among lumberyards to like buy it now at like August prices, because September prices are going to go through the roof?
Maybe
if it keeps
like that's the narrative, right? Is it's going to keep going up every month. So now it's like, well, shoot, do I buy more? But we're also getting to the back half of the season where guys aren't going to want to load up a whole bunch on stuff right now, especially when it's unpredictable as to when it's going to come.
Oh yeah, hey.
Right. Like we've still got POs.
Like it might take 6 weeks.
Comes in February.
Well,
our
might
POs
take
from
8
June
weeks.
aren't filled yet, right? So we're waiting on June lumber to come. Who knows? Trickle in through August and maybe September. So if you order something now, you may not see it till October, November, and by then it's like, well, it's over.
We certainly don't need a truckload of lumber in November.
Well, keep warm, you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's the story on lumber. It's like the price increases, at least in our case, we're actually being pretty conservative with the price increases. We're not pushing it up until we absolutely have to. And it sounds like some yards are like,
That's not a unanimous decision. I think we should be pushing it through the roof.
Yep.
some yards are obviously probably just
I think we
choosing
should
to make
offer
money
more
now.
like banks, and we should try to make as much money as we can. But anyways,
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the auction. Put a
Auction,
lift the 2x10s in the parking lot and auction it off.
anyways,
But anyway,
so now the trick is managing customers.
Mhm.
Contractors and customers. So everybody's pissed. Everybody's running hot. Their stuff is late. They wanted their deck done. They can't go on a holiday. They're grumpy that their summer sort of sucks, but they thought they were going to get a deck and now they can't get a deck. And they're pissed. And they come see the people that won't give them the product. And that's Shane. Shane won't give them the product. And so he's like, we just get lit up on the daily right now. From
yeah, a lot of
somebody
people
about
are
something.
super understanding of it, and a lot of people are unaware of what's going on or something, or maybe they don't care. It's just like you're the face in front of them, so it's your fault that there's no more trees being cut down right now. And so whatever, it is what it is. Some people were trying to manage expectations the best we can, but we can't, like, on a normal year, all people want is communication and to know what's up. And that's what's so frustrating about this year is that there's no answer for you.
Mhm.
There's nobody I can phone to get an answer for you because they don't have the answer for me.
Yep.
And it's because who they phone doesn't have an answer for them. Nobody knows. Like when are you going to get the 2x8x12s? I wish I knew.
Right.
Trust me, I care more about when I'm going to get 2x8x12s than you do. You are inconvenienced because you can't build your project for a couple weeks. I lose my house
Oh, exactly.
if I don't get 2x12s. So trust me when I say that it matters to me when the 2x812s are coming, but I can't get the answer for you. I can phone my guy and he'll be like, I can't tell you, man. They'll be there when they be there.
He's in the exact same position as you.
He is. Because he phones a treatment plant. Is like, when are you going to send me 2x8s? And they're like, call the mill. Find out when I'm going to get the 2x8s to treat them. Call the mill. When are you going to get 2x8s? Like, you tell me when the lumber truck rolls in with logs that we can cut 2x8. Like, nobody knows.
Yep.